Hello. I'm back. Feeling slightly better. So, hope everybody's having a good week. I am going to make food from Malawi, which is a landlocked country in southern Africa. So this should be a lot of fun. I'm going to make a dessert. It's called mbatata, which is sweet potato cookie. So, yeah, I am, still recovering. It's crazy how long this stupid illness has held on, but it is what it is, and you just keep on keeping on. Life's a garden, you dig it and make it work for you. So what this is, I guess kind of where I'm at right now with everything. So there is a mixture that I have right here. It's a dry mixture, and I have a wet mixture. And this wet mixture is the sweet potato, hold on, let me bring up the recipe really quick. Okay, so mashed sweet potatoes, which I actually made. A really quick, easy way to make mashed sweet potatoes is to take a sweet potato, to peel it and then cube it, so just little cubes, and then you toss it in boiling water for like 10 minutes, 11 minutes. You can just test the doneness with a fork. And then you drain the pot and you let it cool down, and then you mash it with a fork. You can also use a potato masher or whatever if you want. But why get a special tool when you can use a fork? And I feel like I probably have every tool that I probably don't really need, but still, and I'm using a fork. All right, so there's also milk in here, vanilla extract, an egg, raisins, but you can use like cranberries, dates, currants, whatever you have on hand. I just like raisins, so I got those. That's all mixed up. In the dry mixture, okay, so I'm gonna have to read this because it's dark brown sugar, flour, baking powder, baking soda, salt, black pepper, nutmeg, allspice, and that's it. And so I just whisked this together and I formed a little, I guess, kind of crater in the middle of the dry mixture. And now I'm going to put in the wet mixture and I am going to fold it all together. So let's see, I think we do this. So go ahead and pour in the sticky ingredients. And there is a glaze on these cookies, which I'm excited. It's just basically like a ton of like powdered sugar and lemon juice. So should be cool and interesting. Go ahead and put that together. I'm just gonna use a spatula, and I promise maybe the next time that I make food, we'll use the GoPro. I really want to start using it. I'm not sure if it has audio, and this week is another week where I was just like, man, I am struggle bussing. So I'm just gonna do things this simple way, which is very low maintenance. Just kind of fold all this stuff in until the dry mixes with the wet ingredients. How's everybody feeling about Thanksgiving? I am excited because my mom and my two younger sisters and my brother-in-law and my sister's boyfriend and my niece and nephew from Wichita are coming up, and I'm excited to cook for them. I'm gonna make a Cajun turkey, smoked turkey, and my buddy Jim's gonna help too as far as getting all the food ready to go. I'm gonna do green bean casserole, stuffing, pumpkin cheesecake, all sorts of tasty stuff. Sorry for sniffles, and I'm probably gonna cough a couple of times, but that's just part of it. Okay, this is kind of coming together. What is everybody's favorite Thanksgiving meal or entree or dish? Feel free to put it in the comments of this video. I am so partial to green bean casserole, and I am excited to make it. And I'm also going to make au gratin Hasselback potatoes, which I'm also excited for because I've never made those before. But I guess some news. Henry and I are going to be moving to Wichita, which I'm very excited about because I have a lot of family and friends that live there. And while I'm very sad and will miss all of my friends and some of my family do live up here as well, I will miss them too. But we'll visit, and oh, the oven is preheated. I guess I should have said the oven needs to be preheated to 350 degrees. Okay, so still feels pretty dry, so I'm gonna keep mixing. Okay. Supposed to mix to form a sticky dough. And that is what we're trying to get done. It's starting to look a little bit like a sticky dough. Still some dryness in here, but just incorporate all those ingredients. And sweet potatoes just have this like naturally cohesive feel to them. I feel like anytime I've made like sweet potato pancakes or latkes or anything like that, they are very sticky in a good way. Okay, we're kind of getting there. Just have to keep mixing and folding. All right. And then the next step is to flour a surface, and then what we're going to do is add some more flour to it. And there is, I guess, one thing I did not include in that initial description of the dough is that dry. There's about 2 1/4 cups of all-purpose flour. You know, one thing I think I'll start doing in these videos is if I got this recipe on a website or something, is just linking to the recipe. That way if somebody actually wants to try and make what I made, they would be able to do that. All right, we are almost there. This is starting to look sticky, so scoop up the rest of these dry pieces of ingredients. There we go. And I will do the facts and all those kinds of things for the country here after just a little bit. And I will just have to incorporate this last little bit of dry ingredient on there. So I'm going to use a rolling pin. Dun, da, da, da. Handy dandy rolling pin. Take a little drink break. If you've never tried Wild Wonder, their sparkling prebiotic drink, it doesn't have too much sugar. It tastes really good. There are a bunch of different flavors. It's a woman-owned company. She started it. I think it's based out of San Francisco in California, and it's really great. It's got a lot of natural ingredients and flavoring, and it's supposed to be fairly healthy for your gut. So if you are interested, there you go. And if you're not interested, that's okay too. I don't know if anybody has the same opinion, but it's funny when you look at reviews for products. Half of the reviews are not even about the product. They're about how long the product took to get there, or their perception of what the product should have been like based on what they had hoped for, and not actually what the product is or what it does. So I just think it's kind of funny. I don't even know why I said that. Okay, this still looks good. Just a little bit. Looks much better than it did just a little bit ago. Okay, so generously sprinkling the work surface with flour. And then I'm gonna separate this dough. I'll bring you over here with me. I'll sit you up here on top of these crackers. And I will, okay. I also have a bunch of potatoes that I plan on using in a few days. Get this and this. Generously sprinkle your work surface or a sheet of parchment paper with flour. I will generously sprinkle my work surface with flour. My singing has not improved since the last time that I sang. Okay. Looks pretty generous, if you ask me. And now, going to split the dough. Okay. Roll out into a 1/4 inch thick sheet. Okay. So I'm going to roll this out. I'm supposed to sprinkle more flour on top, I think. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. It's looking pretty good. So this 3 is okay, to 1/4 inch thick sheet. So I'm going to be able to get about 8 by 12 inches. All right. Sprinkle a little more flour on there. Probably a little more on this rolling pin. Just so things don't stick. Okay, I'm going to turn this sideways so it's not in the way. Whoops. There we go. Much better. There we go. Okay. Cool. All right. This is looking pretty good. Okay. Nice. Okay, so this is about what we're looking for. I don't really know the best way to show you, so I'm just gonna kind of, it looks like about a 1/4, right? 1/4 of an inch. And then use a bench scraper, which I have in here. And I'm supposed to cut this into 2-inch squares. So it's supposed to cut the craggly edges off. And then I'll just put these pieces over here. Okay. 2-inch squares, huh? I think that looks about right. Maybe I should have got my... Okay, so now I think we're supposed to put these on the sheet, spreading the cookies. So I think you can kind of see what I did, but here, I'll go ahead and provide an aerial view. They're a little cattywampus, but that's okay. Okie doke. And then I'll just put this back in with the other dough. The craggly bits. We could probably make one out of that. All right. There we go. Okay. So, scoop these over here. I will set them, supposed to be, I think, like an inch apart on the sheet. So we'll do that. Oops, those got stuck. You do not have a bench scraper? I know I've said this like a million times, but you should definitely get one. You can just Google it, buy one off of Amazon. It is probably the single most handy prep tool for sure, but just general kitchen tool, because you can do so many things with it. You can clean, you can reorganize stuff. It's pretty great. And you can make batatas, which is pretty great. Okay, now the next one. We'll rewire some more flour. Flour power. Okay. It's a little bit sticky. Okay. Let's mush this stuff together. Sprinkle some flour on top. On top. And start rolling. Start rolling it out. Just keep rolling. That's what I always say. Well, at least tonight I said that. Also, rolling pin. A good rolling pin, you don't need one that has, in fact, I think it's maybe a little easier to roll with a rolling pin that doesn't have handles on it, because you could just hold the pin and just roll it with your hands. And I feel like it's a little bit more, I don't know. I do believe in the whole idea of like when you cook. I mean, I like listening to music, but when I'm by myself, I won't listen to music and just listen to the crackle in the pan, listen to the stuff in the oven, like as it's kind of like popping and doing its thing. Just because like I feel like food should be, you should be attuned to what the food sounds like when it's cooking. It can also cue you into whether it's burning or not, which I feel like is helpful. Okay. Enough of my food philosophy. It's the food philosophy. Do 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 do. And craggly edges have been removed. And then we'll just go, that looks like about 2 inches. There we go. So I've never made a glaze like this with lemon juice, which I feel like is going to be kind of a fun attempt. There we go. My measurements are probably all wrong here, but you know what? We're learning. That's what we do here in the house of tour of the palette. Just get our stuff and things. We make it happen. You just get it done. That's what I always say. And I promise I will grab the computer and show you what it looks like when it's all put together on the pan. I just don't and can't want to touch the computer. God, I can't talk. I don't want to touch the computer. My hands are covered in flour and dough. So give me just a minute and I will be right there. Okay. There we go. Now I will clean my work surface. I actually can make 2 more. So let me roll this out real fast. I'll just go ahead and sprinkle some. Can make 2 more of the cookies of the imbatata. There we go. Cut that piece off. Cut that piece off. These are going to be scraps that I will not use. Cool. I've never had a sweet potato cookie before. This will be fun. Okay. Let's get another scrap. And the nice thing, so I mentioned a bench scraper is handy dandy, because this is not really a countertop that I like to do this stuff on because things get stuck on it. This bench scraper does a nice job of cleanup. And then all you do is just scoop it over here to the end, pop the top on the trash can, and in you go. And I just spilled stuff all over the place, but that's okay. Okay, I'll wash my hands, show you these delicious things, and then we will bake them. And while they're baking, I will read information about Malawi. Okay. I guess I should probably put flour away too, huh? Would not be a great idea to leave that out. So let me clean that up. Gotta clean up as you go. Clean up as you go. Okay. This is like really close up. Hey! There you go. Those are the cookies. All right. Let me pop these in there real quick. Got some flour on that. Okay, so we will bake, rotating once until slightly puffed and that cooked through and golden brown at the edges. Okay. Right, so we just put them in there and bake them for 10 minutes and rotate one time. Bye-bye. So I'll just do 5 minutes, that way I don't forget, and that will turn them. And that gives me a timer for talking about Malawi. So let me grab my sheet. Okay. Malawian culture is simple, hearty, and deeply tied to community life. It reflects the rhythm of the land, the seasons, and the social bonds that hold family and villages together. The staple, Nasima at the center of every meal. Nasima, I could be mispronouncing all this stuff too, so please forgive me if I am. Nasima is a stiff porridge made from maize flour, and it is the national staple. So that's what I should have made. These cookies sounded really interesting, so I'm doing those. It is eaten with hands, rolled into small portions to scoop up relishes. A meal often feels incomplete without Nasima. It's not just food, but a symbol of identity and comfort. Relishes, or flavorful sides, zidia. Meals are built around Nasima, with zidia, or relishes, providing flavor and nutrition. Vegetables are pumpkin leaves, or chiguada, mustard greens, arape, okra. Fish, especially chambo from Lake Malawi, also dried fish like usipa, beans and groundnut peanut sauces. Occasional meats like beef, chicken, or goat are often reserved for special occasions. Eating with hands is traditional. Most rural and many urban households eat with the right hand. Washing hands before and after meals is an important ritual. Sharing from a common dish reinforces closeness and equality. Meals are a communal experience. Food is a social glue. I see a theme here in pretty much every country that we've gone over so far. Food is glue. Families, neighbors, or entire villages may gather for meals. Guests are always offered food, and refusing can be seen as impolite. That's also pretty common. During celebrations, harvests, weddings, births, cooking becomes a community project. Seasonal and local ingredients. Malawian food reflects the climate and agricultural cycles. Maize, cassava, sorghum, and sweet potatoes are staples, which is what we're cooking with right now, sweet potatoes. Fruits like mango, papaya, guava, and baobab are seasonal favorites. Dried fish and vegetables help families manage the lean months. Lake Malawi's influence. The lake is central to culinary culture. Fresh fish grilled, fried, or stewed. Fishing traditions are passed down generations, and lakeside villages build their identity around fishing seasons and methods. Tea culture. Malawi is a major tea producer. Tea time is a daily ritual, often with bread or fritters, or mandasi. Sweet, milky black tea is most common. Important cultural and ceremonial foods. Chicken and goat stew are for celebrations. Rice is a luxury item reserved for guests and holidays. Local drinks like dabwa, which is fermented maize drink, or masezi, which is a homemade beer, appear at community events. Hospitality is a cornerstone of Malawian identity. Visitors are welcomed with food, even when resources are scarce. Sharing meals expresses respect, kinship, and goodwill. Urban and rural differences. Urban centers blend traditional foods with Indian, Chinese, and Western influences, and rural areas maintain more traditional cooking, open fires, clay pots, and communal eating. So there you go. Some Malawian cuisine traditions. Good stuff. I am going to get this ready, which is the glaze to go on the cookies after they're done cooking. I need to grab a baking rack. That way when these are done, they can cool off. Okay, I'm gonna say bye for now, and we'll be back when the cookies are done, and then I'll make the glaze, and then we'll put the glaze on the cookies and we'll try one.